welcome back. I'm going to continue now with 2 Years Before the Mast by Richard Henry Dana Jr. We are now at Chapter 10, A Southeaster Passage Up the Coast. This night, after sundown, it looked black at the southward and eastward, and we were told to keep a bright lookout. Expecting to be called up, we turned in early. Waking up about midnight, I found a man who had just come down from his watch striking a light. He said that it was beginning to puff up from the southeast and that the sea was rolling in, and he had called the captain, and as he threw himself down on his chest with all his clothes on, I knew that he expected to be called. I felt the vessel pitching at her anchor and the chain surging and snapping, and lay awake, expecting an instant summons. In a few minutes, it came 3 knocks on the scuttle, and "All hands ahoy! Bear a hand! Up and make sail!" We sprang up for our clothes, and were about halfway dressed when the mate called out down the scuttle, "Tumble up here, men! Tumble up, before she drags her anchor!" We were on deck in an instant. "Lay aloft, and loose the topsails," shouted the captain. As soon as the first man showed himself, springing into the rigging, I saw that the Ayacucho's topsails were loosed and heard her crew singing out at the sheets as they were hauling them home. This had probably started our captain as Old Wilson, the captain of the Ayacucho, and had been many years on the coast and knew the signs of the weather. We soon had the topsails loosed and one hand remaining as usual in each top to overhaul the rigging and light the sail out. The rest of us came down to man the sheets. While sheeting home, we saw the Ayacucho standing athwart our house, sharp upon the wind, cutting through the head seas like a knife, with her raking masts and sharp bows running up like the head of a greyhound. It was a beautiful sight. She was like a bird which had been frightened and had spread her wings in flight. After the topsails had been sheeted home, the head yards braced aback, the foretop mast stay sail hoisted, and the bows streamed and all ready forward for slipping. We went aft and manned the slip rope which came through the stern cord with a turn round the timber heads. "All ready forward?" asked the captain. "Aye, aye, sir, all ready," answered the mate. "Let's go. All gone, sir." And the iron cable grated over the windlass and through the househole, and the little vessel's head swinging off from the wind under the force of her backed headsails brought the strain upon the slip rope. "Let go aft." Instantly, all was gone, and we were underway. As soon as she was well off from the wind, we filled away the head yards, braced all up sharp, set the foresail and trysail, and left our anchorage well astern, giving the point a good berth. "Knives off too," said the captain to the mate, and looking astern, we could just see the little hermaphrodite brig under sail standing after us. It now began to blow fresh. The rain fell fast, and it grew very black, but the captain could not take in sail until we were well clear of the point. As soon as we left this on our quarter and were standing out to sea, the order was given, and we sprang aloft, double-reefed each topsail, furled the foresail, and double-reefed the trysail, and were soon under easy sail. In these cases of slipping for southeasters, there is nothing to be done after you have got clear of the coast, but to lie to under easy sail and wait for the gale to be over, which seldom lasts more than 2 days, and it often is over in 12 hours. But the wind never comes back to the southward until there has a good deal of rain fallen. "Go blow the watch," said the mate, but there was a dispute which watch it should be, which the mate soon, however, settled by sending his watch below, saying that we should have our turn the next time we got away. We remained on deck till the expiration of the watch, the wind blowing very fresh and the rain coming down in torrents. When the watch came up, we wore ship and stood on the other tack in toward land. When we came up again, which was at 4 in the morning, it was very dark, and there was not much wind, but it was raining as though I had never seen it rain before. We had an oilcloth suits and southwester caps, and had nothing to do but to stand bolt upright and let it pour down upon us. There was no umbrella and no sheds to go under at sea. While we were standing about on deck, we saw the little brig drifting by us, hove to under her foretopsail, double-reefed, and she glided by like a phantom. Not a word was spoken, and we saw no one on deck but the man at the wheel. Toward morning, the captain put his head out of the companionway and told the second mate, who was commanding our watch, to look out for a change of wind, which usually followed a calm and heavy rain. And it was well that he did, for in a few minutes it fell dead calm. The vessel lost her steerage way, and the rain ceased. We hauled up the trysail and courses, squared the afteryards, and waited for the change, which came in a few minutes with a vengeance from the northwest, an opposite point of the compass. Owing to our precautions, we were not taken aback, but ran before the wind with square yards. The captain coming on deck, we braced up a little and stood back for our anchorage. With the change of wind came the change of weather, and in 2 hours the wind moderated into the light steady breeze which blows down the coast the greater part of the year, and from its regularity might be called a trade wind. The sun came up bright, and we set royals, skysails, and studding sails, and were under fair way for Santa Barbara. The little Gloriote was astern of us, nearly out of sight, but we saw nothing of the Ayacucho. In a short time she appeared, standing out from Santa Rosa Island, under the lee of which we had been hove to all night. Our captain was anxious to get in before her, for it would be a great credit to us on the coast to meet the Ayacucho, which had been called the best sailor in the North Pacific, in which she had been known as a trader for 6 years or more. We had an advantage over her in light winds from our royals and skysails, which we carried both at the fore and main, and also in our studded sails. For Captain Wilson carried nothing above top gallant sails, and always unbent his studding sails when on the coast. As the wind was light and fair, we held our own for some time, when we were both obliged to brace up and come upon a taut bowline after rounding the point. And here he had us on fair ground and walked away from us, as he would haul in the line. He afterwards said that we sailed well enough with the wind free, but that give him a taut bowline and he would beat us if we had all the canvas of the Royal George. The Ayacucho got to the anchoring ground about half an hour before us and was furling her sails when we came up to it. This picking up your cables is a very nice piece of work. It requires seamanship to do it, and come to at your former moorings without letting go another anchor. Captain Wilson was remarkable among the sailors of the coast for his skill in doing this, and our captain never let go a second anchor during all the time that I was with him. Coming a little to the windward of the bayou, we clewed up the light sails, backed our main topsail, and lowered the boat, which pulled off and made fast a spare hawser to the bayou on the end of the slip rope. We brought the other end to the capstan and hove in upon it until we came to the slip rope, which we took to the windlass and walked her up to her chain, the captain helping her by backing and filling the sails. The chain was then passed through the house hole and round the windlass and bitted. The slip rope taken round outside and brought into the stern board, and she is safe in her old berth. After we had got through, the mate told us that this was a small touch of California, the like of which we must expect to have through the winter. After we had furled the sails and got dinner, we saw the Loriotte nearing, and she had her anchor before night. At sundown, we went ashore again and found the Loriotte's boat waiting on the beach. The Sandwich Islander, who could speak English, told us that he had been up to the town, that our agent, Mr. R., and some other passengers were going to Monterey with us, and that we were going to sail the same night. In a few minutes, Captain T, with two gentlemen and a lady, came down, and we got ready to go off. They had a good deal of baggage, which we put into the bows of the boat. And then two of us took the Senora in our arms and waded with her through the water and put her down safely started. She appeared amused, and the transaction, and her husband was perfectly satisfied, thinking any arrangement would save his wetting his feet. I pulled the aft oar so that I heard the conversation and learned that one of the men, who as well as I could see in the darkness, was a young-looking man in the European dress, and covered up in a large cloak was the agent of the firm of which our vessel belonged, and the other, who was dressed in the Spanish dress of the country, was a brother of our captain, who had been many years a trader on the coast, and had married the lady who was in the boat. She was a delicate, dark-complexioned young woman, and of one of the best families in California. I also found that we were to sail the same night. As soon as we got on board, the boats were hoisted up, the sails loosed, the windlass manned, the slip ropes and gear cast off, and after about 20 minutes of heaving at the windlass, making sail, and bracing yards, we were well underway and going with a fair wind up the coast of Monterey. The Glorieta got underway at the same time and was also bound up to Monterey. But as she took a different course from us, keeping the land moored while we kept well out to sea, we soon lost sight of her. We had a fair wind, which is something unusual coming up, as the prevailing wind is the north, which blows directly down the coast, whence the northern are called the windward, and the southern the leeward ports. Next time, Chapter 11, Passage Up the Coast, Monterey.